Well, my major from college is hotel and restaurant management. And I did that for 5 years after college. I worked for Radisson Hotels. And then one day I got fired. And I was hurt emotionally and had a bad taste of that business in my mouth. So I quit the business and floundered around for a few years. I did furniture refinishing, I did real estate, I worked for unemployment, collected unemployment, and then Jerry Valley is my dad. So this was about the age of 30, and he said, why don't you try hypnosis? Become a hypnotist. I said, well, okay. I always saw Dad do it, but never crossed my mind for me to do it. Now there's two types of hypnosis. There's clinical and then stage hypnosis. I always thought I was too shy to be a stage hypnotist, so I said, well, I'll learn clinical hypnosis. And I went to the NGH's course, National Guild of Hypnotists, and became a clinical hypnotist, and then went back home and trained with Jerry in the office. Did the stop smoking, weight control, fear of flying, and so on. Then how did I get into stage hypnosis? Well, Jerry had a show one evening, one weekend locally. He said, I have a show Friday night. Why don't you come down as a guest? I'll do the show, and you can come out as a guest and do a few experiments. So I said, okay, I think I can do that. So here we are at the show. Jerry did most of the work, he hypnotized the group, and then he brought me out. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Tommy Vee, my assistant, and he told the subjects who are already hypnotized that they will follow my instructions just as well as they follow his. So I came out, made the belly button disappear, had them drive a race car or fly a plane, something like that. Then I left, and he finished the show. So I got my feet wet at that point. Then I thought, wow, I think I can do this. So I made up a one-page flyer that had my picture on it, and it had a paragraph that said something similar to like Tommy Vee's doing great shows across the country and getting great laughs and booking all over the world. And then at the bottom of the page it had these words that said corporate, television, radio, universities, supper clubs. I hadn't done any of those yet. And it didn't say that I did, but it implied that. So I started mailing out these flyers, and I got calls, and that was 22 years ago. So now I do stage hypnosis and clinical hypnosis. Clinical is working with people to make personal changes, and stage hypnosis is comedy hypnosis. It's purely entertainment. And I love doing both. I love doing stage more. It's more fun, and it's a good combination for me, and might be for people watching this, to do both. And when you do an ethical show, which my shows are, they're clean, you can do both. And I get clients who see my show, and they're in awe of what happened on stage, and they come in to make a change in their life. They're already predisposed to being successful because they saw the magic of hypnosis on stage. So it's a good thing to be a good stage hypnotist, and you'll get clients. Well, there's lots of peak moments in my career as a stage hypnotist over the last 22 years. It really blows my mind every night when I do a show and strangers come up that I've never met before, drop into hypnosis really quick and do these amazing things on stage. They do almost anything I ask them to do. So that in myself is a peak. It's just amazing. The other thing is the opportunity to travel. I've performed at resorts, the Balsams Resort, which is a grand resort up in New Hampshire. I'm the leading hypnotist up there, and it's in a beautiful ballroom where I'm wearing a nice outfit, and the ballroom's packed with people coming to see your show, and you get thunderous applause. It's really rewarding, and when people come up to you afterwards and they say, wow, how did you do that? I never laughed so hard. Thank you very much for your entertainment. So there's a lot of enjoyment, and also on the clinical side too, there's a lot of peaks too when people come in and they're unsure on whether they can stop smoking, unsure whether they can lose weight, unsure whether they can fly. And just recently I had a man come in, a young man who had the fear of flying, was traveling over to Ireland with his family, who had canceled flights moments before the flight before, and I hypnotized him 3 times to get over the fear, and even after the 3rd time he was still a little unsure whether he was going to make it or not. And then the event passed and I never heard from him, and then finally he just called me the other day and said that I did fly to Ireland, everything was fine, and so that was a peak. It's good to help people. Well, the challenges that I overcame were, I guess, being nervous on stage. I used to get stage fright. And it didn't happen right at first. I think I was on stage for a while, and then I sort of developed this. I was always nervous on stage, almost to the point of being nauseous before I went on stage. But the way that I overcame that was to, what my dad taught me was a couple things, that most of the time I know more about hypnosis than anybody in the audience. And the other thing is, they don't know, the audience or anybody in the room has no idea what I'm going to say, so that gives you an advantage. It gives me confidence. And then just practicing and getting over that, and now it's just a piece of cake. I know people, you have to get it in your mind that people want to come see you. They want to be successful. Audiences do not want you to fail. They want you to be successful. They want to have a good time. And once you accept that and get that in your mind, the show becomes easy. And I love it. Well, one of the things people think is true is that I have control over the people on stage, that they'll do anything that I ask them to do or tell them to do. But that's the furthest from the truth. The people up there allow this to happen. I really don't do the hypnosis. The people that come up on stage do the hypnosis. They allow it to happen or they don't. But even once they're in hypnosis, if I say something to them that rubs against the wrong way or goes against their morals, they will not do it. So I don't have any control over these people. And I'm totally powerless without volunteers. The better the volunteers I have, the better the show is. So contrary to popular belief, I'm just guiding them through this. I don't have any control over them. It looks like that, but think about it. If I had that type of control, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'd be at the bank, having the bank manager open up the safe and loading up my car with $100 bills. It doesn't work like that. The power is within the people that come up on stage, and I guide them through it. But if you've never seen a hypnosis show before, it looks like, wow, this person's controlling these people. He can do anything, but it's not true. They allow it to happen, and they know what's going on, and I really don't have the control, but it looks that way.